Hey guys, welcome back. Unpopular opinions in Pokemon number 28. There's a lot of them. If you feel like going back and watching any of those, feel free to do so. They are numbered. They are in order. We're catching up on the times here. We're in November 2021. Just to give you guys a reference, these posts are a little bit older. If you have any of your own unpopular opinions, feel free to get on efour, slap them on there, and they'll probably be in a video. Thanks to Sakari for making this thread that never dies. It's still going. I don't know when the initial post was on this, but it seems like it's always on the front page. Always lots to look at and discuss. So let's get right into it here. First off, we have a collector who says, personally, I never liked mixing the hobby/other stuff with lady stuff, but that's just me. Lady stuff. Like when Gary used to have Pika Suit Jessica Nigri in his listings. Like, yes, she's hot, but why would that make me more or less interested in a Charizard? Well, I don't know. I've never seen the Jessica cosplay in listings, but I have seen a booster box photo that was interesting. And I know some people get pretty creative with their eBay listings and such. So, I don't know. I guess it seems like it worked. It seems like you're still talking about it. So it was memorable. It must have caught your attention in some way. So, maybe that's a pro tip. Muck says, I don't mind boobies in eBay listings. It's a fun idea and doesn't hurt anybody. Spoiler. We'll click the spoiler. Haters gonna hate. Yeah, I don't know. I don't necessarily. It definitely catches my attention, but I can't say that I've ever clicked into one and purchased whatever it was. So people are probably gonna share it as well if they come across your really odd listing with something specific or something that stands out. There's a good chance. It's like sometimes where people will be selling code cards, but they have the code card showing. Is it for attention, or is it an accident? Hard to say. Legendary collection. Wait, base set 2 over base set. Stop with this. Whoever's saying this, reprints are never better than the original, and that's what base set 2 is. Great for players at the time. Not great for anyone else that just wanted new cards. I could live without base set 2 or legendary collection. I still collect them. They're still part of the history, but I feel like if I was going to go back in time and, kill a mosquito, that mosquito is probably going to be base set 2 or legendary collection. Sorry to anyone that's really obsessed. I know people really like the base set 2 like hollow pattern, but at the same time, hollow pattern doesn't matter to me for the most part. It really doesn't make a difference. I'm more focused on the art than the foil that is incorporated. And I think if the areas are used appropriately to make highlights and work with the foil itself, that's more important than if there are stars and swirls and little dicks shapes in the foil. Mr. Parker says if prices were irrelevant, popularity would change. I would agree. So if all cards were $1, let's say, popularity would change. I don't know. I think there would still be a lot of people that would want the Charizard, but probably not as many. I know myself. I'm really glad to pull a Charizard. Far from my favorite Pokemon. Probably not even in the top 100 if I had to make a list. But at the same time, I'm always very relieved to pull the Charizard because it means I don't have to purchase it later for my complete set. So, something along those lines. And then also says, this could be the other way around too. If popularity was irrelevant, prices would change. Right, so if everything was equal popularity, then prices would be, that'd be kind of neat. So if you had all hollows were just the same price for the same set, probably, if popularity was the same. So your base set, all of your hollows would be the same. That'd be interesting. I wonder if you'd have the same amount of money or same amount of value, but it would be dispersed evenly across all the Pokemon. No popularity involved. Anything with the same pull rate would be the same price. Binder collections, greater than slab collections any day, anytime. I agree. Lavender Gengar also says, partially black or black background hollows are superb. Fossil Muck, Rocket Zapdos, Dark Weezing, Crobat, Dark Tyranitar, Steelix, etc. I kind of agree. Anything like nighttime that has a moon or lightning, there's a lot of Zapdos cards that are really nice hollow foils because the contrast difference between the lightning strike and the dark background, it looks good every time. Same with the moon and an Umbreon or whatever. Dark and light tend to work really well. Same with underwater hollow foil cards. It just adds a nice little underwater sheen kind of shininess. Usually good. Usually can't go wrong with those two scenarios. Collector is back and says, Pokemon celebs that feel entitled to not be discussed in public makes me sick. You don't get to flip-flop between profiteering from exposure and living in a vacuum whenever you feel like it. I don't know. If you can criticize me or talk about me if you want. If I qualify yet. Offensive. Lowballing is just the other half of fantasy-priced bin listings without best offer and show listings. I agree. I mean, if you're going to have show listings, there's a lot of people that don't understand that you just don't want to sell it. You just want to have it on there. Or if you have something priced high because you don't care if it sells, you still have to expect that people are going to send you a message and offer you, whether it's fair value or not. If your price is unrealistic, people are going to message you about it, ask you if you want to sell it, if you really want to sell it. If you don't, you're just going to have to go ahead and tell them, no, I would not like to sell it. Beggles says, as someone who collects Japanese only and can read Japanese, the thing that completely prevents me from ever getting stuff graded is the use of localized English names on labels. Now that PSA have an office in Japan, I really think they should start doing that. Until then, I am sticking with binders and top loaders. I can only imagine the absolute mess that would be graded cards if they start putting Japanese names on there. Seems like the grading companies half the time mess up the labels anyway in English. So I can only imagine if there's Japanese there that they can't read. You're going to have all kinds of super special label errors, as people call them. It'll look like some certain grading companies that we looked at in the recent past. All right. Collector, again, spam posting here on these pages that we're banging through. True aficionados notwithstanding before someone chops my head off. Species collecting, artists collecting, and foreign have become the ultimate surrogate activities to push onto newcomers that don't know how to deal with current prices. No, a German, Italian, Korean, Kamiya-themed Rattata binder won't solve a damn thing. If you want to collect English first, add Neo Revelation. No matter how many wholesome comments you get on your collection thread, NonTCG should be tucked away in its own sub-forum. Calling English foreign is like calling the American hamburger German. So, first Ed Neo Revolution, with the price increases, maybe not a good idea at the time. I haven't looked recently to see what it's looking like at this point. But played First Ed Neo Revelation, if you're really in that category of, hey, I don't want to break the bank, I don't want to spend too much, but it really needs to have the First Ed stamp, or go with the Unlimited. Or go with played First Ed. Or go with, light played First Ed. Or near mint if you want to save up. If this is what you really want, this is what you should be collecting. Don't let other people convince you to do this other stuff. I think a lot of the people that are doing that other stuff or recommending that other stuff, it's a nice side thing to do that is inexpensive. Even if you're buying expensive stuff on the side or primarily, if that's the stuff that you're buying and selling, and you just want a cheap option that's fun to collect, something to come in the mail, something to stick in a binder, I think the other stuff is great options. But, that doesn't mean you should do it. If it doesn't sound appealing to you, then don't do it. Collect what you want to collect. Collect within your means. Don't worry about what other people think. including collector. It's going to be all right. Don't worry about it. It doesn't need to be a PSA 10. If you want the whole set, or do you want just a couple cards? That's the thing too. Be a little bit wary of if there's some of the cards that are a 10 or a 9, whatever you're trying to collect, that are extremely expensive, and you're saving those to the end, you could be setting yourself up to like a dead end of the collection where you just don't want to keep going because, you know, you priced yourself out. All very circumstantial. Depends on your situation, what you want, if you're buying other stuff too, it might be a little bit more difficult, but if you focus in on one set, you can do it. I believe in you. Anyone can accomplish First Ed Neo Revelation in decent condition with enough time and effort put into it. If you're looking for deals, if you're saving up, you can do it. I believe in you. Non-TCG should be tucked away in its own sub-forum. Not really. I don't think so. There's not that much of it that it needs to be tucked away, I don't think. I think it's important. It's not for everyone. Definitely not for everyone. And I don't collect anything that's non-TCG, but I see the appeal, and there's lots of people that enjoy it. And I don't think it's necessarily big enough on its own to have its own sub-forum or its own forum, own Discord or whatever. I'm sure there are some smaller Discords or forums that are strictly this, some groups that are truly dedicated to it. A lot of those people are also on efour. A lot of them both collect TCG and non-TCG, so you might as well have it all in one spot. Calling English foreign is like calling the American hamburger German. I'd agree. It's a weird spot where English is kind of the primary Pokemon card. Yes, the Japanese stuff comes out first. Yes, it's a Japanese card game franchise, XYZ. But at the end of the day, on the global end of things, the Pokemon Company International, primarily English, even places that don't necessarily speak a whole lot of English, usually want the English cards. In terms of value, in terms of set cards, unless we're getting into the really niche stuff, promos, etc. So here we have a nice little drawing by Muck about the species collecting, artist collecting. And we have, hey man, you see this guy over there telling collector, and this guy is over in the distance waving. Collector, again, listening to this dude here. He's having fun collecting cheap cards and setting unique collection goals. Angry face. So I don't think necessarily what he was thinking. Maybe more so along the lines of people advising that. I think it's pretty good advice. It's in the end, it's up to whoever's actually collecting. But there's a lot of people that they don't know where to start. They don't know what to do, what to collect. They need a direction or maybe some suggestions. And I think those are good suggestions. You don't have to tell them that they have to do any of that stuff, but it's a good way to introduce them into buying something. Certainly a better option than mystery boxes or razzle dazz, whatever the shit gambling on Facebook. Put a binder together. Just buy the cards that you like. Kendall says, the price you pay doesn't affect the fun you have while collecting. It's the chase, and chase can be had at any price point. I would agree. It is fun to get the expensive stuff. I mean, the value of the stuff is nice too. And I think it contributes to the chase. But yes, there is definitely some stuff that's hard to acquire that isn't necessarily expensive. Some stuff that just condition-wise, even if it's less valuable, it's a little bit harder to get. I'm finding a lot of that with the master sets where I want near mint to mint. A lot of the older reverses, not very valuable, but hard to find in good shape. So the chase is still there, even though it's not necessarily very expensive. There's a lot of cards, and finding them all in good shape is it's a struggle. It's definitely time consuming. It's definitely a chase. Cosrob says, if WotC had Japanese quality cards, they would be worth at least 70% less. So this is interesting. And I wonder how much of this would like trickle down. Would it be that the high end would be 70 less? Like the 10s? And then it would just be more spread? You'd have the same total value there, or at least a higher. It wouldn't be just like lopping. I don't know how this would work. I think it would squish everything down. I think there would be more cards that were in the lower tier that would be at higher quality, that would be pushed up in value maybe a little bit. But then the high end, like the 10s, would get like squished down. Weird to think about. But not the case. I don't know, man, there's always like this struggle between people complaining about print quality and then also complaining that stuff is too good, too bad. Like there's people that are like, what the hell? Hidden Fates is too good. The cuts are too nice. The printing is too nice. They're in too good a shape. It's too easy to get 10s. And then on the other end of things, they'll be like, what the hell? All these cards are damaged. Straight out of the pack, like Burning Shadows, where they used a cheese grater to shave the card off of the sheet. Begles says, as someone who is in it mostly for the art and enjoying the work of a bunch of talented and unique artists, the painful reality is the nicest art often translate to higher prices, especially vintage Japanese trophies and promos, which I think are the pinnacle. Well, you had me there until this last part here. There's a lot of older Japanese promos that are nice. I think trophies, for the most part, the artwork is not that nice. The rarity is there, yes. The history is there. But artwork is definitely not there. Someone's going to post an example down below where the artwork is decent. But again, that's your price per artwork quality. It ain't there in trophy cards. That's it's not why they're expensive. That's not why they're sought after. I mean, it's in the eye of the beholder, but at the same time, I'm going to have to hard disagree. Coop13 says, I don't care about non-holo cards. I do. I mean, it gets to the point when if you're opening boxes, whether it's modern or whatever, I have my copy that I want in my binder and the rest. Okay. But especially when they're brand new, I love seeing new artwork, whether it's non-holo or not. Usually the non-holos are the ones that don't get spoiled. So I feel like opening new packs, I get most of my enjoyment from the non-holos, which is neat. Eventually you see them so many times, especially with the small sets, that you just kind of desensitize yourself to the artwork. You've seen it so many times. There's that first like really good appreciation, or like first time seeing it, like excitement. But then after that, Enigma says, if art was the sole indication of price, this card would be the most expensive card in the hobby. It's a nice artwork, but I don't necessarily think that it's the best artwork. Again, in the eye of the beholder. Effect Spore says the EX cards have bad art. The CGI is very bad. And some of the like Magma and Aqua cards, like right in around that area, boy, those are painful the first time you look at them in recent times. But at the same time, they have their own little charm. It's like the snap cards. It's like anything. You have to appreciate the fact that that was what it was at the time, not relative to, today's advanced CGI artwork. Some might argue that 5-band is not good, but again, then we just remind them that they like the 5-band amazing rares. So Parker Mr. Parker says, there's no bad art, even the worst example you can come up with. I will appreciate. There might be amazing art, there might be decent art, there might be unpopular or less appreciated, but there is no bad art. Try me. To which we have Hermit who shows us this beautiful specimen of a Mega EX. We got the Galaxy voice. Man, the Mega EXs to begin with, where they had so much going on the card. But then you look at this bad boy, you got Pokemon, you got the, I don't know, this is the ability in the opposite language. So the Japanese has the English there, and the English has the Japanese across here. Yes, certainly an interesting promo. And I mean, I'm sure somebody thinks that's beautiful. I think the trio here are really cool. How they're kind of hanging on the frame. We got the Bulbasaur jumping out. It's like the Kanto trio in a Gold Star, I guess, or a level X. Muck gives us an example here of this poor Blastoise. I'd like to say that I appreciate a lot of artwork, but this is Blastoise. This is not your best look. This one, he says, this one on the other hand is only terrible. Kind of fits in the theme of Blastoise looking like an angry, drunk, obese baseball dad, though. I don't think the rainbow effect on that particular artwork helps it any either. Collector says, as a raw collector who's looked up graded slabs on eBay for well over a decade now, it always entertains me to see people treat non-graded collectors as beginners or amateurs. Oh, you don't collect slabs? Welcome to Pokemon. Rolling on floor, laughing my FNAO. Yeah, I guess so. It's the same with, like, there's a lot of people that don't necessarily have expensive cards or as expensive of cards, but they're also not the people that are just buying them to resell. There's a big difference there. If you buy stuff, you post it on Instagram, you sell it, and then it's just still sitting on your Instagram because, you know, you want people to believe that you still have it, or, you know, you're not going to go in and delete it afterwards. But yeah, resellers, Mega Flipper 69s, they have a little bit of an advantage if they're going to show off their expensive stuff. It's like Jacob. Sure, he had some expensive cards, but you don't own most of them. And you see that all the time. We're just selling stuff off. He's just flipping and dipping. Coop13 says, Pokemon that just evolve into more of the same Pokemon are bad design. Don't listen to him, Doug Trio. Although, I don't know. Doug Trio doesn't have ears, so it might be like vibration based since it goes through the ground. Last but not least, we have Bobo3 Stew, who says, not sure if this is unpopular or not. Well, we'll be the judge of that. I don't like watching minute-long shorts where they open a pack, show the code, do the card trick, and slowly go through the common, uncommon to get to the hit 55, 60 seconds later. I appreciate the art on the common/uncommon, but everyone is watching for the hit. I enjoy long streams similar to what PokeRev does, where they open so many packs and they just rip the packs open to go right to the hit. Sounds like a Dirium's scenario. The short stuff, YouTube needs to do a better job of keeping that separate. I don't know how they need to do that. It needs to be in its own separate feed. When you go to videos of a creator, it should be a separate little tab. But the reason that people are doing it is because there's the shorts feed, and sometimes they pop off. I found it kind of worth it. There was also some sort of incentive that YouTube was giving out in terms of shorts. They would give you like a bonus at the end, but it was like a mystery whether you were going to get it or not. I never got one, which sucks because I had a ton of views on my shorts, but I don't know. It's still kind of worth it. I think even just to do one a day with the single pack opening. I'm not going to do the pack trick. I'm not going to guess the energy game. But that's the toilet openings, and some people like them. I do think they clutter up everything else on the main YouTube on browser, but at the end of the day, not much we can do with YouTube being a small indie company. We just have to hope that someday they can fund the proper channels to separate those off. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. See you next time. Join the Discord.